India is silent, and the US and China trade war is heating up. And it's sending global shockwaves across the markets. But this isn't just about tariffs anymore. It's about very real possibility of a recession and how different countries are positioning themselves in a new economic battlefield. So buckle up as we explore who is fighting, who is hiding, and who is might emerge stronger when the dust settles. So let's get right to it. Wall Street is freaking out, and not just because of the tariffs themselves, but because of what comes next, a potential recession in the world's largest economy. Goldman Sachs just raised its recession odds to 45%, up from 35%, the second time they hacked their forecast in just 1 week. JP Morgan is even more pessimistic, putting a chance of at 60%. In fact, at least 7 major investment banks have sounded the alarm. The fear isn't just about tariffs will drive up the prices for American consumers. It's that we are entering a vicious cycle. Tariffs spark inflation, which triggers retaliatory measures from other countries, which further damages the trade, which slows growth, and down we go. And here is the thing, the longer this trade crisis drags on, the more determined countries and companies will become to protect themselves. Companies might eventually cave because they have shareholders demanding growth, but countries, they can dig in for a big haul. And speaking of digging in, China just made a powerful move that caught everyone off guard. On Friday, Beijing responded to America's reciprocal tariffs with the blanket duties of their own and additional export controls. Then on Monday, the Communist Party official newspaper published editorial declaring Beijing is no longer clinging to illusions about striking a deal. President Xi Jinping followed up with a statement calling for fully unleashing Chinese domestic consumption potential. The message was clear. If America wants to reduce trade, China will look inward. Trump's response was a threat to slap an additional 50% tariff on Chinese goods if they don't withdraw their retaliatory measures. And he is threatening to terminate all talks if China doesn't back down. This is no longer just though negotiating. This is a full blown economic confrontation. And at the same time, India has taken a very different approach. Unlike China, which has chosen to fight fire with fire, India has largely stayed quiet, and that silence has been strategic up to a point. But as one of the world's largest, fastest growing large economies, many are wondering, isn't it the time for India to speak up? Tens of millions of Indians, from the corporate leaders to small business owners, are looking for direction. India's stock market have been somewhat sheltered by its massive domestic market, but that's not protect everyone forever, especially export dependent businesses. So what's the plan? Will there be a physical or monetary support for industries caught in the crossfire? An interest rate cut seems likely. But is that enough? Are there a new trade relations India could be cultivating? What about those stall talks with European Union? And here is where it gets interesting. Professor Stephen Altman, director of the DHL Initiative on Globalization at NYU Stern, point out that US representatives only 30% of the global imports and 9% of the exports important. Yes, but not powerful enough to single-handedly determine the future of world trade. And that creates an opening. Professor Altman actually predicts that India could capture about 6% of the world trade growth in his baseline scenario, making it the third largest beneficiary only after China and the United States. Even more intriguing that he believes the current chaos could allow India to grab even bigger slice of the pie. So here is where we stand. We are watching the high-stake economic showdown that could trigger a global recession. China has chosen to fight. US is doubling down, and India is at a critical juncture. This isn't about tariffs anymore. It's about who will shape the future of global trade. Will it be increasingly isolated America, a self-sufficient China, or could it be India's moment to step up on the world stage as a major economic player? The trade war is redrawing the global economic map. The question now is who will claim the new territory? What do you think? Is India making the right move by staying quiet, or should it be more assertive? Is US recession inevitable at this point? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more analysis on how global conflicts are shaping our world. Thank you very much for watching this video till the end.